Hello and welcome, I am Arumba, thank you for joining me. This is Arumba's Adjustments Interface Mode for Stellaris 1.0. We're actually on version 1.0.2, and I want to preface this whole video just by saying that I absolutely adore this game. I think this game is amazing. It's so much fun to play. I've already put in, I can't even count how many hours. So take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. All I want is for interface improvements. The core mechanics of the game, I'm not even really going to get into. I mean, maybe a little bit. I might mention a thing or two that I dislike, possibly. But for the most part, I'm just going to go through a list of things that I think the game could use that would hopefully make the game more approachable for the player, easier to compete, and be more responsive, and just easier to use. And so that's the purpose of this video. And without further ado then, we will dive in. This will be edited content, so we're going to be doing scene transitions and stuff, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a second. All right, so adjustment number one that I would make in Stellaris is that there is this thing where when you are on the build menu for planets, armies, and spaceports, there's this recruit button and this build button, and they're both completely useless. So if it were me, I would just make it so that when you open this tab, it automatically opens the recruit thing. It should just be open by default all the time. There is zero reason to bury this information behind a recruit button and hide this information behind a recruit button. It serves no functional purpose other than to be another button to click. Thank goodness there's a hotkey. But let's go one step further and just get rid of the button altogether. And possibly even better, maybe make it so that we could use keyboard shortcuts on some of these things, like 1 through 10, for example. Because usually you're only going to have like 10 different types. That, I think, would be pretty useful. So that'd be adjustment number one. Okay, adjustment number two is related to the interface. So what we have here is we have on Earth, I am currently building a colony ship. Earth is a core system planet that I have in this campaign. And this colony ship, when it gets complete, I'm going to get a pop-up. It's going to tell me that the ship is done, and then it's going to show up in my outliner under civilian ships, and I'm going to have control of it. Now, I have simultaneously queued up another colony ship in a sector. I have a sector here called Sector New Jerusalem, and I've built using the Starport that it controls. And what's curious is what happens is we're going to get the pop-up that the colony ship finishes, but this colony ship does not show up in the queue over here at all. Even though, so like what's happening is technically the sector owns the colony ship, but it doesn't do anything with the colony ship, and I get a pop. Just watch what happens here. We'll slow the game down a little bit, and we'll wait here. We're at 98%. We're only a couple days away. So I timed it so that we should get a pop-up.
Complete.
Construction complete. Spaceport. There we go. There's our colony ship. Now we go back to New Jerusalem. So here we go. We see this other one in 6 days. There's that previous one.
Construction complete.
Construction complete. Okay, awesome, great. But where's my colony ship? It's my colony ship. I got a pop-up about it. If you miss this pop-up, all of a sudden, this colony, this sector, is going to have an 8 ducat, well actually because it's going to be a docked ship, it'll be a 6 energy credit drain forever because it will never use the colony ship and it doesn't show up in the outliner. So the adjustment that I would make is that, hey, if I build any ship whatsoever out of a sector, it should go in the outliner. It doesn't make any sense to me that it doesn't work that way. So that would be adjustment number 2. Adjustment number 3, so let's say that we have a science ship and we want to tell it to go over here and survey a system. There's this handy little thing in the game called the H key, which will stop and remove all actions for selected fleets. It's a very nice, useful shortcut. You press the H key, stops the current thing. Coincidentally, the H key also brings up some sort of internet browser. First off, why do we need an internet browser in Stellaris? I mean, it's nice that it goes to the wiki, but the fact that it's bound to the same key is an oversight that should be corrected. If you want to have a key, if you want this thing here, that's fine. Give us a button somewhere, but don't keybind it to the H key. The H key is for stopping movement commands. And I feel like that lack of continuity in hotkey logic is going to cause player confusion. I know that it certainly confuses me when I'm trying to just cancel ships, moving and doing things and stuff, and all of a sudden I get an internet browser in the middle of this video game. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's adjustment number 3. Adjustment number 4 is quite possibly a bug, but it could be an interface type thing or a just a design feature that maybe wasn't considered. Right now, we're going to try to send for the first fleet from its current system over to here. And what's going to happen is that with my current tech, we warp, right? So we're moving our system. We've got to move outside of the warp, the gravity well of the star, and then we're going to initiate our warp. So let's just maybe go on fast speed while we get to the edge of the system here. We're going to charge up our warp drive. And now we're currently warping to this location. Notice how we're halfway in between these two locations? There's this weird thing where while you're in the middle of a warp, you can't issue commands. I can't say, okay, now go here. Like, the army is completely locked out. Until it arrives at its destination, I cannot say, okay, go survey this and then go survey this. And where this is a problem is in multiplayer, actually. If you are trying to tell your survey ships to go do something, you can't pause the game every 3 seconds to micromanage the hell out of the game. And not being able to control your ships while they're mid-warp is a real hassle. So it's a very simple interface fix in my mind. Just allow us to tell ships to do stuff even while they're in warp. I mean, what's the difference? Just queue it up. I want to be able to tell it, once you get here, go there. Simple fix. Adjustment number 5. Okay, so let's take that same fleet we were just looking at a moment ago, and let's talk about the gloriousness of shift queuing. I absolutely love it. Let's say I have a navy and I want to say go here, and then I hold down the shift key. I want you to go here, then here, then here, then here, and then here. Now, that is fantastic. But what I miss, and what I think would be so easy to implement, is a go do all these things, but before you do all these things, I want you to do something else that's slightly higher priority, but I don't want to have to delete your entire queue in order to make you go do that higher priority thing and then remember what I told you to do before. And so what I would love to see added to the game is what I would call control shift queuing, which could even just be as simple as holding down the control key. And the way it would work is that, okay, I've got this fleet, it's got its path, it's got its list of orders to do, and instead of holding shift to add to say go here, which of course actually that's bad, it can't go there, if I were to hold down the control key and right click, what it should do is it should add that job at the front of the queue. So complete whatever existing warp you're in, but then at the front of the queue, go do that first, and then go back to whatever the order is. And where this would be the most significant is when you're using survey ships, right? You, or maybe even it could be with construction ships. You've got your construction ship set up to go at its order of things, but a survey ship has uncovered some really, really good anomaly, and you want to build it, but you also have a huge queue of stuff built up, and it would be so amazing to be able to control queue an action to the front of it instead of to the back of it. So that's adjustment number 5. Adjustment number 6. Now this one is maybe a little bit questionable, but it's just my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. When you have a fleet, let's say you have a science ship, and it is set to evasive action, and you queue it up to do a bunch of stuff, right? Let's find some stuff for the science ship to do. Maybe we could tell it to, first I want you to survey this system, and then I'm going to shift queue you to survey this system, and then I want you to come over here and survey this system and this system. What'll happen is when it's doing its route, if it ever encounters hostile fleet and it's set to evasive stance, it will run away, which is desired mechanic, right? It's hey, there's bad guys, don't get killed. But the problem I have with it is that it completely ignores its queue. It says, okay, I'm done. And then it just sits. And all of a sudden, all of the work that you did queuing up a specific path or a specific exploration pattern that you had in mind is wasted. The ideal implementation that I would like to see with this evasive maneuvers is that, okay, I tried to go to this system. That was my first system to survey. There were bad guys there. I took evasive action. What should my next course of action be? You guessed it, go to the next one on the list. And then if that one is busy or there's something bad there, go to the next one on the list. And even better, would be if instead of saying, okay, there's a bad guy here, I can't do my job, I'm just going to abandon everything. It should say, there's a bad guy here, I'm going to abandon this task for now and put it at the back of the queue, and I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then once I'm done with all of those, go back to the front of the queue again. It should repurpose or reorder the queue instead of just saying, well, screw it, I'm done. So that would be an adjustment that I would consider making. Adjustment number 7. Okay, so this gets a little bit tedious for me, at least, in the mid to late game when you have lots of starports, especially if those starports are owned by sectors, which don't show up in the outliner, by the way. You have to manually search through their different ports. You have to remember which of your sectored planets have starports. Then you have to queue up ships, and then you have to remember to go pick up those ships. Fortunately, the ships, once created, do show up in the outliner, and then you can go, tell them to join up and stuff. But what I would really like to see is control groups for starports. So for example, I should be able to say Earth. Earth right now is control group 1. This planet is control group 2. That's useful. It is useful. But I can always just click here to go to Earth and check these out. What I really care about is the starport, or the spaceport. I would love to be able to say Spaceport 1, Spaceport 2, Control Group 1. And now I've got those two buildings, those two tabs as Control Group 1. And now I can say Control Group 1, that selects both space yards. And then I can say build, which again, this stupid button shouldn't be here. It should just be open all the time. Build a Corvette. I press the tab key, and the tab key switches from the first starport that I had in the group to the second starport in that same group. I click Corvette, tab, click, tab, click, tab, click, and I can cycle through all my starports, all my spaceports in the entire galaxy and get them all working, all from one keybind. One shortcut that binds together all of my spaceports. And maybe it doesn't need to be a hotkey. Maybe they could just make a button, kind of like in EU4, where you have the macro builder, the B key, I think it's the B key right now. It used to be B. It used to be V or B, now it's B. But like, we need that. We need that interface that allows us to tab between the different spaceports and build lots of different stuff. And it especially has to work with sectors. The fact that sectors are manual is such a tedious drag. So that would be an adjustment that I'd love to see be made. Adjustment number 8. We 100% need rally points or shipyards, or we need a feature similar to what we have now in EU4, where you can take a fleet and say, like, I would love this. I would be so in love with it if I could say, select the fleet, press the B key or something, which actually is bound to go home, which is fine. I actually really like that key. But like, say, I don't know, some other button, build up like a build menu, and then recruit ships to this navy. And just have it automatically find, just like in EU4 with a macro builder, like, I want to recruit 3 corvettes, 2 destroyers, and a battleship or whatever, and I want them all to automatically be built at the nearest starports that are empty. It should consider the build times. It should prioritize that, hey, this spaceport has a corvette station, this one has a destroyer station, and so I'm going to try to prioritize those, but the main goal being get them built fast, and then once those ships are done, they should automatically be issued a join command to the primary fleet, and they should just fly and go meet that fleet. If not that, that would be my preferred option. If not that, then at least let us say, hey, Earth rally point, spaceport, and then like give us a set rally point button. Or if I have the spaceport selected and I right click here, I should be able to right click here, and that says, okay, every ship built out of Earth is going to go to that planet. And then if you go back a couple adjustments ago, and I had this key binding where I could have all my spaceports bound to a single thing, and then I could tab through them, I could say, okay, now all spaceports are rallying to Neptune, or okay, we're pressing south, all spaceports rally to here, and then I'm tabbing through building corvettes, building destroyers, building ships, and they're automatically coming down. It would be freaking amazing. And it's essential, I think, for competitiveness, for being able to macro as well as you need to, I think, to be super competitive. I think we need this type of feature. Adjustment number 9. Okay, I have a minor complaint with repairing ships. Right now, when you tell a fleet to go repair, it goes to the closest spaceport for repairs. Regardless of how big the Navy is, regardless of how damaged it is, it just says, where's the nearest spaceport? I'm going to go repair there. And first off, this is something I will say, a minor design complaint. I think repairs take way too long. They take for God ever. It's crazy how long they take. But what I have, my main complaint here is like, okay, so I select this fleet, right? And I tell it to go repair, and that's great. But if I then say the V key to split it, this one still has the returning to series for repairs. If I then tell this other fleet to go repair, it's still going to go to the closest spaceport, regardless of the fact that this one's going to that spaceport. They both end up queued up at the same spaceport, when what should really happen is it should go to the closest spaceport that's not being used. And this one's being used. So it should split them up. Or there should be an option where you could say, like, repair as fast as possible at as many different spaceports as you can. Either that or just let repair speed not be so god-awful slow. That's an option as well. So that would be an adjustment that I'd love to see. Just the fact that they all pile onto one spaceport and they take forever to repair is a major issue, I think. Adjustment number 10. This is another, again, minor interface complaint. Let's say you're playing a nation that just so happens to like dabbling in slavery, and you click the Emancipate button. You get a secondary pop-up with 3 more choices. Emancipate this specific pop, emancipate all pops of this type, and cancel. In my mind, this pop-up is horrible, and it is so tedious. There's no keyboard shortcut for any of these buttons, so it's click, emancipate, click, click, emancipate, click, click, emancipate, click. Takes for freaking ever. What I should be able to do is click, emancipate. Done. Just done. It's just a single button. It's a toggle. Either emancipate or unemancipate. It's one or the other. And then there should be a separate button that says enslave all of this type. Like, don't give me 2 buttons here. There should be enslave, and then there should be enslave all of this type. Make me, there's space. Look at how much space is wasted in this button, right? Like, shrink this, cut this button in half, move it over a little bit, and then move this one over a little bit, and put another 3rd button right here. Enslave, enslave all, right? Don't bury it. This is stupid. This, I don't like it. It's bad. And then the same thing happens with regards to, where am I on my list of things that I'm complaining about? To purging. So what I would probably do is, I don't know, try to find a way to make like this whole thing, like it should just be like emancipate, emancipate all, purge, purge all, resettle, goes somewhere else. I don't know. Resettle could be just somewhere else, but burying it, these things are bad. I don't like it. So anyway, that's my opinion on it. You may have a different opinion, but I find it to be extremely tedious after having managed a slave empire. So that's my thoughts. Adjustment number 11. Okay, so we are now looking at the tab for planets. We need a new tab. This planets tab is confusing. Planets should be planets that I control. My planets. I'm allowed to have control 5 in this case. Certain other government types can control more, but I can control 5. Down further, we end up with the sectors. And when you expand out the sectors, you end up with this ginormous freaking list with expandable sectors that get way, way out of control. And so what it should be is it should be Planets tab, Leaders tab, Factions tab, Sectors tab. And if you want to go even a step further, give me a tab for each individual sector that I create. I know that there might not be enough space here, but I would love to have a sector tab specifically so that I could say, okay, I want to look at the primary blight sector. I click on it. Let's pretend like this right here is a button here. So I click on it, and all I see is, well, this is a bad example because it's freaking huge. It's got 16 planets. But if I click on like the distant blight, all I see is this page, but with just this one planet and the leader and its information. There's just too much going on this screen. It needs to be segregated out. The sectors, we need it, at the very least, planets and sectors, but preferably each individual sector gets its own tab. Adjustment number 12. We need the ability, I think, to build stuff from these screens. Notice how there's this little plus key here, this little plus button. Empty module slot. This spaceport module slot is empty and open to further expansion of the spaceport. My immediate thought when I see that is, if I click this, I will be able to build from here. But it doesn't do anything. It's just letting me know that it can be built from there. What I have to do is click on the planet, go to the spaceport thing, click on this button, go to this thing, close this menu, find the thing. What the hell was that? Why can't I just say, click Build Corvette Assembly Yard? It should be buildable from here. Why are you showing me this information here if I can't even interact with it? It's like, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. Also, if I click on a planet and I do build something from here, let's say I build the Corvette Assembly Yard, right? It's now queued up. Now on this screen, this should not be a plus anymore. This is occupied because it's currently being upgraded. It should have like a little dashed line across it saying, okay, yeah, there was a slot available. These ones are locked, but this one's actively being, there's something in the queue of this planet's starport that's going to consume it. That way, when I'm managing my planets from this screen and I see my starports and I'm looking at, the primary blight and I can see all these things, I can see, okay, does this one do I need to build something here? I don't know. I've got to click on this. And then I got to go here, and then I got to go here, and then I got to go, I want a solar panel network. And then I got to go back to this screen again. Which one was I on? I don't know. I have no clue because it doesn't tell me that this occupied thing is being built on. And I should just be able to click right here. Dialog pops up that says, which one do you want to build? And then it shows that it's in the queue. Simple fix. Fantastic. Adjustment number 13. So how many of your games look like this? You go to your situation log and you see debris freaking everywhere. Debris everywhere. It's all manual. If you want to do it, you've got to go to on map, and then you got to find a science ship, and then you got to say right click, research project. Shift, right click, research project. It is so tedious. There should be just like survey sector, I should be able to say right click, collect all debris in system. Like, that should be just a thing in the game. Instead of having to say each individual bit of debris collects debris, I should just be able to say, at the very least in the system, collect debris in system, and maybe even better, a science action where I could just click a button that says, this science ship's job is to find and collect debris. It's in debris mode, Right now, it's in survey mode. Order the science ship to survey stars. Okay, I click that button. Now it's in debris mode, and so it's going to automatically take a look at the situation log, find debris, and try to go do that. If I have it set in evasive mode while it's doing its job trying to find debris and it encounters enemies, it runs away. But this manual debris collectment thing is just so tedious, needs to be changed. And that's my adjustment that I would consider making there. That's just my opinion. Adjustment number 14. All right, so again, more on this screen and how the macro element of Stellaris needs help. You would assume, at least I would assume from playing other games, that if I were to click right here, I can see this is the Governor tab. If I were to click right here, what do you think should happen? I think that if I click right here, I should be able to appoint a governor, because this is the Governor tab. If I click on this, I should be able to pick a governor. But when I click on it, it takes me to the planet. Why? That doesn't make any sense at all. If I clicked on the planet, it should take me to the planet. But if I click on the governor, it should take me to the governor. It should take me automatically to this screen where I'm picking a governor for the specific planet. Where in the heck are we? Like, I should just be able to click and then show me a drop down of available governors, and then I could appoint directly from there. That's the whole purpose of a macro interface like this. This thing is not really doing what it needs to be. Adjustment number 15. All right, so this is just an opinion, again, like every other adjustment. But I would really like to see something like what we ended up with in EU4 after 2 years of development, where we have a screen that shows a summary of all of your modifiers at once. We kind of have that here, but we don't have everything, right? Like I have a custom species here that has tundra habitability 80%, Arctic habitability 60%, etc., etc. But they're also extremely adaptive, which gives them plus 20% habitability. So it would be nice if somewhere I could see like the colonization wheel or whatever, but just see a summary of all of my modifiers all together to see that tundra habitability is actually 100%, Arctic habitability is actually 80%, etc. The problem is that it's just everything is isolated, and it feels just like EU4's screen where we had like, you know, missionary strength +1 for 5 years, and then those little modifiers, those temporary modifiers. There was no summary, and a summary would be very useful. This is great. If we could make this bigger and somehow include more information in it, or like, I don't know, give us a button here that pops out a summary of every modifier that you have, that would be really, really useful, I think. Adjustment number 16. I would love to see more tabs for vassals, specifically. Vassals and people that you have relationships with. I find this interface to be kind of confusing. Again, I've played huge amounts of EU4, so I'm very familiar with that interface. This one, it's like I look at this and I have a hard time even telling, okay, who's my enemy, who's my vassal, who likes me, who hates me. I can see the opinion, I can see the distance. This information's kind of useful, but where's my empires, species, vassals tab? Like, why don't I have a tab for vassals where I can just see that, okay, so we're looking at the Creeping Black Mold. I'm the overlord of all these 4 people. So give me a tab, and then give me some relevant information about my vassals. Tell me how many, like, okay, so we know, for example, I'm the overlord of this guy, the Detnurna. Okay? Tell me how many planets they have, how many people they have, are they loyal? Tell me a little bit of information. I mean, again, I know they're obfuscating the amount of ships that people have and stuff, but give me like this relative power indicator in a column format from this screen here, vassals, and then show it like vassal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or relationship 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then show all of this information in a format that I can actually see what the hell's going on. Because this is just so... There's just like, especially if you play on the large empire, there's just so much going on. I have no idea. I can't tell. I don't know who's loyal. The only way for me to check is to just manually go through and, okay, this guy's disloyal. I guess I got to work on that. There's no vassal tab. Where's the vassal tab? Okay, that's an adjustment. Adjustment number 17. So when you're looking at a navy, you can see here that we've got 5 destroyers, 28 corvettes. We can see its rough attack power. We can see the two little blips or 2 pips lets you know that they are destroyer class ships. The single pip lets you know that they're corvette class ships. But when they're engaged in combat, there's no like total number of ships on this screen anywhere. I don't really know why, but I feel like that would be pretty useful if it were to tell us somewhere in there. The second disseminated, whatever word that is, like if I can see by hovering here, naval capacity usage, Emerald Crystal Cohort 3. So I'm assuming, are there 3 ships? Yes, there are 3 ships. But like, without hovering over this, when you end up with these big fleets, like how many ships do I have? Like just show this number. Don't bury this in the tooltip. This information is useful. The fleet composition, the number of ships is useful. I need to be able to see at a glance, am I losing ships and at what rate? And I feel like the information's buried right now. So I don't know how to improve it. I'm just suggesting that there could be an adjustment made here to make it more transparent. How many ships I have, and am I losing ships in the engagement? So, adjustment number 18. I would absolutely adore if instead of, okay, if we're looking at military fleets right now, let's say I want to put together a doom stack, something to go fight my arch nemesis. Right now, the way to do that is you click on a navy, hold down the shift key, click, click, click. I have them all selected, press the G key. They all have been issued a command to join together. Once they've all joined together and who knows where, they just kind of randomly pick a place to meet up, then now I've got a doom stack. That's fine. But what happens when I'm building out of 20 different spaceports and I have to shift click 20 different little itty tiny little bit of navies, one corvette apiece, and then tell them to all join? Again, rally points would help. We talked about that earlier. But here's a simple fix. Left click on military fleets makes this go small. How about right click on military fleets, selects all military fleets. Right click on civilian ships, selects all civilian ships. Just right click, select all. And then I could just say, right click G, done. That would be amazing. That is my adjustment. All right, the next adjustment that I would make, this is, I think, just a bug possibly, is something that I noticed when playing between different campaigns. Having this auto-generate designs button toggled on and off, it does not respect save files. So if you are playing a campaign where you're trying to let the AI design ships for you, and then you go play a campaign where you are designing your own ships, it will start auto-generating new designs for you automatically. The button does not respect save file status. This should be fixed, in my opinion. Adjustment number 20 would be that until the AI can handle slavery, sectors are useless to slavery empires. Unfortunately, you have to look at this. I just loaded up a random planet. It's managed by sectors. They don't care. They completely ignore slavery. They've got these people who, notice I've got to do the double click thing, which is annoying. They've got slaves working on science, slaves working on energy, slaves working on this. This is wrong. And so what ends up happening is that if you play a slavery empire, basically you have to micromanage every single planet in your entire empire because they won't do it. Until sectors can manage slavery, slavery is the most micro-intensive aspect of this entire game. And it makes it unfun. And basically the adjustment is, please, 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 God, please make it so that sectors will adjust slavery settings and actually know what the hell they're doing. Adjustment 21 and the final 21st, the final adjustment is that we have not really very many options on here. Notice I haven't said anything about map modes. I agree, this game probably doesn't really need map modes. Although I would like to know more about like who I'm at war with. That would be a main thing, like maybe one map mode to see who's hostile to you. Otherwise, it's like when you get declared a war upon by like a coalition or something, it's very confusing. You have to manually go through and figure out, okay, am I at war with this guy? Yes or no? Okay, got it. And then this guy, and then this guy, and this guy, this guy. Oh, and that guy is a vassal of that guy, so I'm at war with him too. And then you have to somehow, while you're at war, you have to remember all that crap at the same time. I mean, at the very least, all the navies are red. If they're enemies, they're red. That's good. But knowing who you're fighting is a major concern. So that would be like one map mode that I would consider. But that's not actually the adjustment that I meant to talk about. What I meant to talk about is that we don't have an options menu for message settings. There's no message settings interface whatsoever. And some of this stuff I never want to see. I want to turn it off like forever. And I want it to show up in the outliner as a disabled alert. And I want to say like, hey, debris, I don't care. Go away forever. Stop bothering me about debris. Or once you feel confident that you know how your science ships are going to interact with fleet stance, I don't care that they're evading. I only care that they are not in combat. When they're in combat, I want a pop-up. But when they are doing what I told them to do anyway, which is to be evasive, then I don't need a pop-up every single time they do an evasive action. There's just so much spam up here. And the issue is, the adjustment that I'd like to see is, we need a settings. Where's our message settings? Every Claws of Ascension game has a message settings option dialogue. Like, where is it? It's missing. So, anyway, that's the final adjustment number 21. And to wrap this whole thing up, again, I just want to remind everyone, please, please, please take all of this with a grain of salt, meaning that I love this game. This game is fantastic. This is the most polished Paradox release I have ever seen from them. This game is fantastic. I have almost nothing but positive things to say about it, and the things that I have to say about it that aren't positive are just me being me when it comes to the interface. I'm an interface guy. I like to make, I could probably make a living as a professional interface critique guy. That's a real thing. I mean, it'd be consult work, but anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. Let me know what your thoughts are. I mean, maybe some of these things you agree with, some of them you don't. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything, but if you support some of these changes, comment down below. Let's drum up some attention to these things, and maybe in the very first primary major like push, the polish patch, we can get some good stuff added to the game that will help out and make the game more fun for us. So, as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate your support, appreciate you watching the video, and you know, come check out some of my campaigns on the channel. I'm getting a whole lot better. It's going to take another couple campaigns, I think, to get really, really good. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you over there. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you soon.